There is something strange is happening in the economy. On one side, the economy is slowing down and there are clear signs of a recession. On the other side, the stock market is hitting all-time high. The jobs report came out recently and the economy has lost more than 23,000 jobs. And this is not something new. If you zoom out and look at the number of jobs the economy has been adding recently, you will see a clear trend since 2022. Every single month almost, the number of jobs the economy is adding is going down. So if we continue on this trajectory, there is no doubt that a recession is going to hit. What is a recession at the end of the day? It is when the economy slows down, companies stop hiring people, and the Federal Reserve has to step in and to stimulate the economy to get it out. In fact, it wasn't just the number of jobs that the economy has lost during July, but rather they have revised some of these numbers. Back then told us that in May the economy has added 129,000 jobs. Now they have revised the numbers and are saying that no, it's actually 63,000 jobs. The same thing happened for June. So overall, they have overestimated the number of jobs by over 100,000 jobs. So the jobs report is the clear indication that the economy is slowing down. In fact, I want you to look over the last year. You had multiple months when the number of jobs was negative. So what do you think is going to happen by the end of the year? But at the same time, I want you to look at the other side of the picture. Look at how much the largest tech companies are spending right now. Meta, about $150 billion. Microsoft, almost $200 billion. The same thing that can be said about Amazon and Alphabet. And now compare to how much they've been spending in prior years. So essentially this year, they're almost spending more than they have spent last year. That doesn't seem to me like there is a recession. And what you see over here are just the largest tech companies in the world. But if you dig deep into that, you will realize that we have a lot of semiconductor companies that are spending billions of dollars. We have companies with data centers. SpaceX is not here. Tesla is not here. Micron is not here. Nvidia is not here. And look at the S&P 500. Just in the last 6 months alone, it has grown by more than 11%. Now, 11% might not seem a lot, but the average historical growth rate for the S&P 500 is 10%, or even 9%, I would say, 9 to 10%. So when you have the S&P 500 that is growing by more than 11% just in the last 6 months, it seems like the economy is doing great. And it's growing because these companies on one side is spending a lot of money, on the other side are making a lot of money. Well, if there is so much spending, why do the number of jobs is going down every single month? Why are we losing so much jobs in the first place? You see, if you look at the economic cycle, this is how it usually works. When we start in the economy, there is a period of economic boost, so we're spending a lot of money. This spending is, of course, turns into a lot of jobs. Think about it this way. When you go to a restaurant, first of all, you must have money to go to a restaurant, and you're spending money over there in the restaurant. That money instantly turns into a paycheck for the waiter that works there, for the owner of the restaurant, and for everyone else that works in that restaurant. Now, that restaurant needs supplies, so they have to pay their supplier. So the more money is being spent in the economy, the more jobs there is going to be. But when the economy is growing too fast, the economy could overheat because prices are rising at the same time incredibly fast. So when they reach their peak, what do you think is going to happen? The Fed has to step in, raise the interest rates to slow down the economy, and sometimes that turns into a recession in some cases, and then the same cycle basically repeats over and over. But when you look at these two numbers, you don't see that. On one side, we are seeing so much spending, literally more spending than we have ever seen in the last 5 years. At the same time, we can see that the economy is clearly slowing down. These layoffs are not due to AI, because on one side, some people could claim that, look, we're building AI is replacing people, So yeah, the economy is growing, but the number of jobs is going down because these jobs are being taken by AI. But that's not true. All these companies that fired people because they wanted them to be replaced by AI, they're hiring them back. In fact, they're calling that the AI boomerang. Why companies are quietly rehiring the workers they just fired? Because they realize that you can't just fire people. AI is great, and I really love AI myself, but trust me, AI is not going to replace you. AI is going to boost your productivity. AI is going to be this additional tool that's going to make stuff a lot faster, a lot easier, but at the end of the day, you need a human over it to pay attention and make sure that everything is verified. Now, I'm not claiming that AI will never replace people. That might happen sometime in the future, but in the foreseeable future, we still need these people, at least for 2026, maybe even 2027. So the fact that we're losing so many jobs every single month now is not due to AI. AI is simply raising the productivity, but it's certainly not costing us jobs. Maybe some jobs, but not a lot. So this situation is putting the entire economy in a very diabolic situation. What are we going to do right now? Should we raise the interest rates or lower the interest rates? Because these two different situations are causing two different outcomes. If you have a recession, you need lower rates. If you're having an economic boom and the economy is overheating, then you need to raise the interest rates. Now, here's the interesting part. Over the last 5 years, everybody was waiting for the lower interest rates. We haven't had lower interest rates since 2022. They hiked them back then, and since then, everyone is simply waiting for them. And now the conversation is shifting from when will the rates be lowered to will we raise the interest rates by the end of the year? And this is not just some people claiming that. Literally, the Bank of America expects that we are going to have 3 Fed hikes by the end of the year. The Deutsche Bank expects another 2 rate hikes. Other analysts say that it might be just 1 rate hike. And this is really bad news for AI companies, because the AI companies, even though they are spending so much money right now, unfortunately, they're running out of money. And a lot of that spending is happening because they're borrowing so much money. When you raise the interest rate, the cost of that borrowing is going to rise insanely. So the Fed's decision whether to hike the interest rate is going to have a profound impact on the entire market. The final decision most likely will be based on what the inflation rate is going to be on 12th of August, because we still don't have the numbers. We have the numbers for June, which is 3.5%. We have the numbers for May, which is 4.2%. And based on these two numbers, the Federal Reserve should certainly hike the interest rates. Because even though that the Fed is partially responsible to the economic growth, its most important job is to keep inflation in check. Because the Federal Reserve is the source of the dollar. It has to make sure that the value of the dollar does not drop significantly. Because if that happens, then the Fed fails at its job, which is to protect the value of the dollar. Some inflation is healthy for the dollar because that stimulates spending. Imagine for a moment if everybody knew that the value of the dollar will be preserved forever. What do you think people are going to do? Do they have any motivation to spend that money? No, they will keep that money. But that is not going to lead to economic growth. At the end of the day, the purpose of money is not to preserve wealth, but the purpose of money is to stimulate growth. If you want wealth, if you want to preserve it, then you have to keep it in assets. And primarily in assets that produce something. If you have a rental property, it's not just preserving the wealth, but rather it's being rented out. It's actively creating something. If you have a farmland, that farmland isn't just sitting out there and doing nothing. It is the source of food. If you have a business that is manufacturing something, you're selling cars, you're selling pens, you're selling electronics. So you're constantly adding real value to the society. But what's the point of cash? That cash sits there and does nothing. So we want to have some kind of inflation, but not the kind of inflation that is more than 3, 4, 5%. We want inflation to be at around 2%. And that's why, by the way, after the 2008 financial crisis, when the Federal Reserve started printing money and they saw no inflation or whatsoever, what do you think the Fed did? The Fed kept the rates at almost 0% for like 5-7 years. It kept doing quantitative easing because they're like, we made the cost of borrowing free. and yet we are not seeing any inflation or whatsoever. That's, by the way, something that you have to think about. If you understand now that the purpose of the Fed is to create a healthy inflation, then your job should always be to be an investor so that you're not holding a lot of cash, but rather that money is sitting in form of assets, and these assets are consistently creating value. And over the last 6 months, as you have seen that, the S&P 500 has actually grown by around 12%. So your $100,000, if they were invested in the S&P 500, would have turned into $112,000. Your $1 million would have turned into $1,112,000. And if you want to know how to start investing and what are the best stocks to buy right now, then check out the Investing Academy. The link is in the description of this video. So the economy is being divided into two parts. On one side, we have the real economy. This is the number of jobs that people are losing. This is the number of jobs that the economy is adding. On the other side, we have a parallel economy, which are the big tech and investors. These people are building their AI world, they are investing in AI, and all of that spending is happening among themselves that is not touching the rest of the economy. If you are a huge company, Amazon, and you are trying to develop AI, you're spending hundreds of billions of dollars not to hire people, but rather to buy computer chips from NVIDIA. And then you're spending hundreds of billions of dollars to build the data centers. And then you are spending billions of dollars to buy high bandwidth, which are these wire to connect AI computers from Samsung or SK Hynix. So all that spending is actually happening in the economy. The only problem is that that spending is not touching the rest of the economy. These spendings are basically happening among these large companies, and they are the primary reason behind the GDP growth. So yes, the GDP is doing great, but if you take out the AI spending out of the economy, the real condition of the economy right now is that it is in a recession. Most people are losing their jobs. And that's why I always emphasize on this channel that no matter what happens to the economy goes through cycles. But we're living in a type of an economy today where the stock market essentially became the driver force of wealth. So whether the economy is going down or it's rising, these companies are constantly building something that is creating wealth. And now it's AI. So before it's too late, you should start investing. You should put your money in the right stock. You should put your money in the right assets. So even if the real economy is going through a recession right now, your money is still working on behalf of you in the stock market and is growing your wealth.